Hey, what do you say we race some dual slalom out here celebrating the 20th edition of Crankworx Whistler. We've been bobbing and weaving and being fluid with the schedule as the fluid is scheduled to fall from the sky here at some point. We've moved dual slalom to today. Why not kick things off here on a beautiful Thursday? This is going to be the final stop of our 2025 slalom series. Taking a look at the standings right now, Gill out in front of Tegan Cruz by just 25 points. And if you look at our brackets here for the round of 8, which is where we will be picking up competition for the men, Tegan Cruz and Ryan Gilchrist are right in there, as well as Jackson Frew. So I have a feeling this is going to be a nail biter right down to the finish. The stage is set. It feels like it always has out here, with all the mountain bike fans from across the globe joining in the festivities, filling the lift line here at the Whistler Mountain Bike Park. So that's the story for the men. When we're talking about the women, of course, the first name we're speaking of in this series, the current leader, Caroline Buchanan. A look at the POV of the crash she had earlier today.
Oh no, got sore, mate.
So she's got a steel plate in her chest.
Yeah.
All cabled together. She broke her spanner.
And that's the reason why we will not see her on the start list today, which is obviously a bummer to see. We will have her joining us in later broadcasts as a field correspondent, but it's opening up the door right now for Jordy Scott, who's only 20 points behind in the slalom series. Jordy Scott is in the competition out here today. She's looking poised to sweep that championship title if she's able to play her cards right out here today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Cam McCall, your host, and I'm hanging out with Alan Cook here in beautiful Whistler, BC. It's slalom time, my man.
Yeah, I'm hyped up. If there's any better way to start a Crankworx event than head-to-head competition and battling this boneyard slalom course, I can't think of a better way. So much excitement in qualifying. I'm really excited to see, because as it always happens in slalom, the speeds increase, the times drop, and I was just talking to Luca Cometti. He said that the track is starting to deteriorate a little bit. So that extra speed is becoming even more technical to manage.
Which is wild too, because we are seeing a pro-only dual slalom track. There is an amateur one that's built in a different area. So to think that that already challenging track is deteriorating, those long travel bikes being definitely working out the best out here, and it's going to continue that way as the course continues to deteriorate. So we talk about this race being the final stop of a series. We talk about points a lot in the Crankworx World Tour. They're valuable because we have the king and queen of Crankworx overall titles, but also these points are valuable for that series. We talked about really tight gaps, 25 between first and second for the men, and just 20 for the women here. And here's how the points break down. Figure if you make it into the round of 8, you're already getting 25 points. So you don't have to be a mathematician to know that things are looking pretty good for Jordy Scott for the slalom series, as well as the queen of Crankworx overall, where Jordy is leading the charge right now. Taking a little look back to the first time we had the king and queen of Crankworx thrones up for grabs. It was all the way back 10 years ago, 2015. Bernard Kerr earned himself the crown for the men, and Annika Bearden won the crown for the women. The first king and queen royal couple right here, and to think that that's 10 years ago now is insane, as we're kicking off the first broadcast of our final stop of the 2025 season. And this is what the Queen of Crankworx standings look like right now. Just 204 points separating Sabina Kosterkova and Jordy Scott. Issues for Sabina earlier today though, Alan.
Yeah, on that same jump actually that took out Caroline, just a testament to this course and really putting that exclamation point on slalom. The track builders taking advantage of having those separate tracks. Like you said, this thing is fast, it's technical, it even slows down in the middle, which is probably the most technical part. It's gonna be an amazing race today.
And on to the king of Crankworx standings. Top of the list right there. You would say, oh, of course, he's the reigning king from the 2024 season. Of course, he's leading the charge at the top of the leaderboard this year. But if you think back to the crash that Ryan Gilchrist had in May, which was not that long ago, it's remarkable that he's not only back in action, but he's been successful already this week. He took a second in the Garbanzo downhill. I was writing some messages back and forth with him last week, asking him how that hand is feeling. He showed a little bit of a tease of the x-ray. He's got a lot of hardware in there. He said it feels good for pump track and slalom, but it's really kind of painful on the downhill. You figure there's some deep holes up here. But, you know, if he's feeling 100% in the slalom, this is his right here. All he's got to do is keep the train on the tracks.
Yeah, I mean, if the downhill events were, you know, the hard part for him with that injury, he got second. And I think he was kind of poised to win the A-line downhill, but unfortunately got a flat. So if the hard parts he's winning, he's in his zone here. We're going to see some awesome racing out of him. He's going to want to cap it off with a win. You know he does.
And this track is smoother than a downhill track, but it is still rougher than your typical run-of-the-mill dual slalom track. What better way to get to know this track? Let's go on board with Jordy Scott in our course preview.
What's up, guys? I'm Jordy Scott. We're here at Crankworx Whistler, and this is the Specialized Dual Slalom course preview.
Okay, dropping into the track. We have these pretty peaky rollers, and this table's super hard to get right. These shark fins were taking names in practice today, so super happy to get over there. Cool jump on, jump off feature, and then coming around these corners. This shark fin's actually so hard to make. The flags are super tricky. A lot of people missing that flag on the left there to not go onto the blue course. And then still was trying to figure out where I was going in this section. But yeah, just trying to make sure I got around all those flags and sprint to the finish with some gravelly dirt.
There you have it, super technical, challenging dual slalom course out there. The stage is set. We're down to round of 8 for the men and the women. This is the Specialized dual slalom, and it starts right now.
So bad, it's a party round here. All I see is gold, get us through my cardies round here. Always on top of the money, never tardy round here. Now I'm on top and they love me, keep some shorties round here. And we go pop us some bubbly, cause we going high, yeah.
Well, there you have it. I can't believe it's already August, and I can't believe we're already at the final stop of the tour. We've been to New Zealand, we've been to Australia, now we're in the birthplace of the Crankworx World Tour, Whistler. And if that's not enough, this is the 20th edition of this congregation of the mountain bike world here in beautiful Whistler, BC. As I mentioned at the top of the show, we're expecting a little bit of weather to come in. It's been hot for the past couple weeks, and there's a storm coming. We've moved the broadcast here today to make room for that beautiful rain to fall tomorrow. It'll make things a little bit more challenging tomorrow, but at the end of the day, we need rain on this dirt, and it should make for better conditions moving forward into the weekend. We're gonna start action with a round of 8 for the women's category. Here's a look at who made it through qualies, through the round of 32, through the round of 16, and into our broadcast show, Alan.
Yeah, a lot of fresh names in the top brackets here that we see. As you can see, these numbers, when the brackets come through, the fastest rider versus the slowest rider in qualifying is what's going to match up, and those riders are going to go head-to-head, get 2 opportunities. Both differentials of their times will get added, and that will be what decides if they move on or if they pack it up.
Classic dual slalom right there. You see at the top of that bracket, Jordy Scott. It's definitely her game right now, as she is 20 points behind in the slalom series. She is at the top of the leaderboard for Queen of Crankworx. A lot of opportunities to kind of make it all come to fruition right here after a hard-fought season. So up to the top of the course, they are loaded into the gate right now. Jordy Scott, left side of your screen. Tayte Proulx-Royds on the right side of your screen. First qualifier going up against 8th qualifier here.
Gate snaps down. You can hear that UCI BMX gate cadence going on. Jordy Scott, super familiar with that BMX racing as she comes from that world, being able to translate it straight into the Crankworx World Tour, excelling in many categories. But today, it's all on her shoulders, and a poise to take over that Ultimate Championship win. Let's see if she can bring it home. There's no given in slalom, that is for sure. You can see how loose that is. She slides in, big puff of moon dust. seen so many riders making adjustments, which not something we typically see in slalom. Tire pressure changes, tire changes, bike changes. This course is evolving, but what is also evolving is Jordy Scott continuing her winning ways, able to get that 1.5 maximum differential in that first run.
And it might not be the last time we see her put a 1.5 on somebody here, 1.5 being that maximum differential, as you mentioned. But this shark fin here, Alan, look at that. She's the only one jumping that thing. It's been claiming victims. We heard her mention that in the course preview. That can be a game changer to have that in your back pocket.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's also a huge confidence booster knowing that you have basically a shortcut on the track. That's going to really allow her to stay calm, stay motivated, and keep that eye on the prize, and really not override any of the other sections. She can kind of trade that time that she's making up on the jump to go slower in some of the more dangerous corners and stuff like that.
For sure. And if you're anybody else in this women's field, how in the world do you compete with that if you're not jumping that shark fin? It's going to be interesting to see how it shakes down. Basically, Jordy Scott's just got to keep the train on the tracks here as we take a look at our next heat in the gate. This is Ijurco and Lofqvist Traum dropping in the 4th and 5th qualifiers, respectively.
Yeah, you can see that first little green bar pop up. That's who got the whole shot. Looks like Julia got that whole shot right there, but the rider on the white course, Ijurco, the 4th place qualifier, starting to pull ahead a little bit. A lot of times these courses are very, very evenly matched, but sometimes there is a little bit of an advantage. We didn't see a huge advantage in difference between the black or white course. If anything, that white course is slightly faster, as Julia takes advantage of that with a 1.5 advantage. But as mentioned, these riders will re-rack and get another chance swapping courses, so it's not over for any of these riders missing out on these first rounds.
This is just telling you how technical and challenging this track is. It's rare for us to see a lot of 1.5s during a slalom race. And now we've seen twice already the first 2 heats in the women's category. Back in the gate right now, your reigning queen of Crankworx from last season, left side of your screen, Martha Gill, going up against Maylea, Leaneagh.
Martha Gill, our 3rd place qualifier, looking really good right there. Got that kit matching that bike, liking it. You see them slow down right there, check up, go around that shark fin, straight back on the power for Martha Gill, stretching out her lead right now over Maylea.
Round of 8 for elite women.
Had a bit of a rough go the last couple. Crankworx, Martha's gonna definitely be looking to finish off this season on a strong note. Looking solid coming down, having to be patient right there. Looks like a bit of a rut is starting to form on that turn there on the white side of the track. That's going to pay off later on.
If we see another 1.5, that's going to be insane. There you have it. Martha Gill crossing the finish line with the max differential. So that is 3 max diffs in a row here.
Yeah, it's a bit different out here today. Not only the max diffs, but like I was saying, I mean, look around the pits. There's spare wheels, there's tires. It's a technical track, and it's changing as this day is developing.
Here, look, there's not really a fast way to not jump that shark fin, is there?
Yeah, it's full commitment on that shark fin. We did see it bite a couple of those riders, so understandably, some of these women not willing to take that risk. It's a long week. We still got pump track later in the week. We still got joyride. These riders, a lot of them are riding different categories of competition out here, so you gotta play it safe sometimes, or sometimes you gotta send it.
And few know that more than a reigning queen of Crankworx right there, Martha Gill. Seems like yesterday she wrapped up that title. Crazy to think that was over a year ago. A little bit further down the roster there in the queen standings this year. Here we go. Back up to the top. 2nd run here for Jordy Scott and Tayte.
Never mind those names right there. We got some graphics mixed up.
Yeah, this is Henderson and Allen here.
We see a couple of trail bikes out there. Really, with slalom, it's really a skill-building type of event. The corners, the jumps, the rolling.
These kids, courtside, they're psyched.
And you do have the option to run different bikes. You see both of these riders on more of a trail bike setup. I see some 29-inch front wheels, some big, meaty tires with extra grip, softer suspension. It's going to slow you down on the rollers, but you're going to be able to go faster in some of the rough tech areas. So it's really, you know, you got to kind of look at the course, make a decision, and stick with it. There's not going to be any changing of bikes midway through.
Waiting to see that differential there. It'd be wild if we had 4 1.5s. So there we have it. Jordy Scott with the advantage over Proulx-Royds. Lofqvist Traum with the 1.5 over Ijurco. And Martha Gill gets that 1.5. But there we go. A normal differential there, the 0.7 between Henderson and Allen. As we mentioned at the top of the show, the format for dual slalom, we get them back up to the top of the course, switch sides, fastest combined time, moves in, we trim the field in half, we trim it down to 4 after this. And this right here is why you come to Whistler. This is why for 20 years, this has been the spot to be come summertime for anybody who loves mountain biking. Part of the reason is there's so much more to do here outside of mountain biking. Makes for a great vacation. We got a question for you, those of you who weren't able to join us here in person, but you're joining us online. Who wins dual slalom, the aggressor or the calculator? Might be different for this course than typical courses, but type the number in the chat box down here at the bottom of the video viewer you're watching here on the Red Bull TV, the Red Bull Bike channel. 1 for full attack mode, 2 for clean and controlled, 3 for anything to advance, and 4 for depends on the lane. What would you go for today, Alan?
Ooh, you know, looking at this track, I think I would be a number 1, full attack mode, until about turn 3. And at turn 3, I'd bring it on back to clean and controlled. The way that this track is, it's gonna reward that aggression on the top half where the rollers, you can pump them with everything you got, gain those accelerations, get on those braking points where you need to, but then kind of take a deep breath and really kind of tiptoe your way down through those slippery flat sections.
It's time, Alan, to throw those top 8 up to the top of the course and let them fight for glory. Let's see how things went in the round of 16.
Yeah, we're seeing Jackson Frew right here come through against Eddie Reynolds. Jackson Frew's been looking extremely, extremely solid today. When a rider's feeling it, sometimes you can just see it, and I'm seeing it in Jackson Frew. Another rider I'm seeing it is Sam Blenkinsop. He was a rider that I was seeing kind of tune into the track more than anybody. Tire pressure adjustments, tire changes.
I mean, this is kind of a track that's going to favor the downhill riders. And you never know, man, we might end up with a bit of a mud race toward the end. Once we get into finals, we're watching that radar, and it's getting close to us, those clouds, those rain clouds.
Even on that outside start.
Yeah, for sure. Anything can happen out here in slalom, and if you throw weather in, man, it's like throwing it all up in the air and seeing what lands first.
Well, we just saw Tegan Cruz there, second in the series overall, just by 25 points. Cruz, second qualifier, making it into the round of 8. What we always love to do is take a look at the top of these brackets and the bottom. The top, you see number 1 qualifier, Austin Warren. Bottom, Tegan Cruz. Like to imagine a collision course between those two, but in the middle right there, the number 4 qualifier, Gilchrist. That is the guy who is leading the series right now. He wants to do whatever he can to finish ahead of Tegan Cruz. But a lot of danger men out there to kind of toss a wrench in the works. Back up to the top. Heat number 1 in this round of 8 for the men. Number 1 qualifier, Austin Warren, going up against number 3 in the series, Jackson Frew.
This is going to be an insane heat right here. We've seen Austin Warren a couple of years in a row come to Whistler and have amazing qualifying time. We've not yet seen him get to make it through the brackets without a mistake, and I'm looking for that. But man, Jackson Frew is looking on point today. Just watch how on point Jackson Frew is. Every pump is exactly where it needs to be.
Jackson Frew, returning defending champion from last year's event here. Look at that.
That was unbelievable. Gap up to the tabletop, pedal all the way across and down while he's pumping, but it's not quite enough right now with Austin Warren, our number 1 qualifier, extending his lead, able to break early and tiptoe through and really solidify the rest of this course for himself.
Austin Warren through the line first by 0.69. I mean, if you just look at the difference in bike choices here, Austin's bike working so well in those corners and over the rough stuff. It's amazing how how successful Jackson Frew's been on that little 26-inch bike the past few seasons.
Yeah, I think just a little bit of a disadvantage on that second half, the bottom half of the course for Jackson Frew with some of the traction stuff you're talking about. But this next heat is going to be ridiculous. I cannot wait to see when they go back to each other, because Jackson's not going to leave anything on the track. He never does. And Austin is pushing him to his limits.
Yeah, Austin looking so consistent out there today. Like you mentioned, we've seen him with great quality results, and we haven't seen him on the podium for a while. This could be his day. I would say he's one of the riders who will welcome the adversity as well in these deteriorating conditions and the weather incoming. Back to the top, Ryan Gilchrist, right side of your screen, reigning king of Crankworx. Series overall leader right now. Going up against Sam Blenkinsop, the 5th qualifier.
Yeah, we've seen these riders in finals in the previous races. Looks like Gilchrist getting that whole shot out of the gate. Gilchrist on a very short travel bike, and Sam Blenkinsop on a little bit bigger bike, 29-inch wheels. So he's going on that traction side. The bottom half of the course right here is where he's going to be having advantage over Gilchrist. Let's see if he can extend that lead and really set himself up for the next round. Gilchrist coming around, tightening it up just a little bit through the finish. See what Blenkinsop's got. Both riders absolutely on the edge, drifting those final turns. Blenkinsop just ahead with a .194 advantage over Gilchrist.
Blanky's loving this track. He looks so comfortable out there. Like you say, a little bit longer travel bike. What's up with the visor off? I missed that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He might have bumped it off with all the energy and aggression he had. Did he take it off for the wind? Is this, he's trying to get an advantage?
A little Nikolai Rogakin action. So we talked about Ryan Gilchrist being the reigning king of Crankworx. We talk about him leading the king standings right now, as well as the slalom overall standings. This is what's up for grabs right here. 100 points for first place. We're in the round of 8, so 32 points is the minimum you can end today's competition with. And if you look at the gaps, it's only 25 points difference between Gilly and Tegan Cruz for the slalom series. Gilly's got quite a lead in the king, but guess what? Who's in second? That is also Tegan Cruz. So it's interesting to see them both find their way into the round of 8 here today. And so much more at play than just this race when we find ourselves in the final stop of the series.
Yeah, if you ask yourself how much it means to Silva or to Tegan, those 25 points, if you look at the little number next to their names when they're up, he was a bit faster qualifier, so he knows what he needs to do.
Check this out, Alan. So I just heard my headset. The officials need to take another look back at something that took place in that last heat. And if you've been sticking with us for slalom all season, this is a part we've been having some fun with here. We go back, we check out a slow-mo. If you miss a gate, it's not good. Not a good thing to miss a gate. If it's in run number 1, it's a 1.5 maximum differential. If you do it in number 2, that's time to go grab a pizza. Your race is over. So let's see what they're looking at.
Let's look at these riders. A lot of times they will hit the gates. They're trying to be so perfect. You gotta watch which side of the gate the tires actually hit when they go over the gate. We've had some close calls over the years. Let's see what we got. Who are we looking for?
We don't even know who we're looking for. All we know is that something is questionable. Well,
okay, I saw a flag come off,
there.
but I didn't see where his tires were.
Hopefully we can get a...
Looked like Blenkinsop made contact with that white flag just before re-entering the bottom of the boneyard. So let's see, they're looking at the replay, making sure everything is legit.
It'd be a game changer because it's a pretty tight differential between those two in that first heat there, or in the second heat, I should say. Obviously, the gates are there for a reason. You got to be on the appropriate side of the gate. You can roll over the post as long as both tires are on the correct side. You can make contact with it. You can get up on it a little bit, but it all comes down to our course officials. They'll watch replay after replay to make sure that the tire didn't actually cross over to the wrong side. A lot of times you can rip the flag off but not actually miss the gate, so it really comes down to going through those replays with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah, it's usually the pedal that will take the flag as they're leaning over. They'll be on the right side, but the pedal will pull the flag off. But we are back up at the top.
Meier-Smith, third qualifier, going up against Dante Silva, who's been strong today, your number 6 qualifier.
Yeah, both riders on some trail-ish looking bikes. Meier-Smith, we've seen him on the World Cup circuit having a decent season out there. Did you see that turn get ripped to pieces?
He exploded that right-hander.
Pedaling into the turns and out of the turns, keeping momentum going. It's such a balance of aggression and hesitation into these turns. Looks like Meier-Smith is hooked up right there. But Dante Silva is going to close in as they come in. Like, can he pull it through these flat turns? Meier-Smith, 0.249 advantage over Dante Silva.
A balance of aggression and hesitation. Is that what you said? I love that. It's so true. You need to be aggressive, but if that's the only thing you're focused on, man, it's easy to lose control. We've seen that. This final straightaway is so treacherous. It was just a couple years ago we saw Gill cartwheel down that thing, get back up, take a second run. You need to respect the volatility of that straightaway while still being somewhat aggressive, which is a fine line. Here we go. How about this youngster here, left side of your screen, number 7 qualifier, Ryder Lawrence, going up against the guy we've been talking about all day, Tegan Cruz, just with a number 2 next to his name on a ton of different lists today.
Did you see Ryder Lawrence's rhythm through there? He actually back tire rolled the larger of the rollers and was able to get a huge burst of momentum out of that turn, but Tegan Cruz drawing right next to him. Let's see what they can do down to the bottom. These are those flat turns. This is where it starts getting dangerous. Both riders looking really smooth right there, side by side. What's it gonna be?
Barely anything, 0.009, 9 thousandths of a second. As I am kind of synced up with our on-site announcer right there, we said the same exact thing at the same time. It's not often you see differentials that close on a course this long.
Yeah, fastest time of the day right there. Ryder's looking amazing right. That was that roller right there where Ryder was able to gain a little bit of an advantage. He manualed the deeper of those rollers and was able to get a huge burst of energy. And now watch down to the bottom where things get a little hectic. That hesitation I'm talking to, just look how calm into this turn right there. Able to even get a pedal in between, and that was where the momentum change shifted right there. Tires are perfect around these gates. Clean runs out of both riders, just barely coming across in front.
The fact that there's so much going on this course, and you can get races this tight, we haven't really been able to identify one lane being noticeably faster than the other. That is going to be really fun to watch once we get them to the top and switch sides. That Cruz versus Lawrence heat right there with 9 thousandths of a second. But take you back, remind you the differential in heat number 1, it was Warren over Jackson Frew. Bubba Warren, your number 1 qualifier. Blanky putting those downhill skills to the test, edging out Ryan Gilchrist by just 0.19. Then it was Meier-Smith over Silva. So we saw 3 1.5s in the women's category. Now we're seeing all these sub 1 second differentials for the men. Real tight racing out here in the men's category. A little peek at all the different options you can get amongst out here in Whistler. Half your family likes to ride, the other half likes to golf. Come here, we got it all. Go float the river, whitewater, rafting, do it up.
Looking at the brackets right here for the women, they will be heading back up to the top, switch sides, and get another run here at the course.
All right, this is your number 1 qualifier, Jordy Scott. This is just the same story with her. This is going to be the thing we're talking about all day. It's just she needs consistency. It's hers to take if she's able to play her cards right, with a 1.5 right now over Tayte Proulx-Royds.
Yeah, it's really 2 courses for Jordy. She can get a smooth run to that shark fin that no one else is jumping, and then just chill and maintain her speed right there.
Definitely not the best line in that left-hand berm right there, but she has such an insanely large lead, it didn't seem to matter.
And not to take anything away from Tayte, that gap is as big as it is because of Jordy having that special jump right there, where she's using it as like a shortcut on time.
Cheat code for sure. So there we go. Jordy Scott secures herself into the round of 4. We're about to find out who she will face off against. It'll be either Ijurco or Lofqvist Traum, who will be loading up in the gate next. And there they are. This was another 1.5 second differential here in favor of Julia. Surprising to see such a big gap with the 4 and 5 qualifiers.
Yeah, I didn't see too big of a mistake or anything out of either rider in the first round, so looks like these riders are keeping it really smooth, but pushing it all the way down to the finish. You see him pedaling out of the turns, into the turns. A couple of cases right there. It's gonna make it a bit tougher to make up that time. You know, she's doing what she needs to do right now. Got about a full bike length ahead as they're coming across the line. 0.279 was the gap right there. Not enough, unfortunately. Julia will continue on in today's brackets.
So Lofqvist Traum will gate up against Jordy Scott. Now, something must have happened in run number 1 that we didn't quite see, because a whole lot tighter here.
Yeah, way tighter racing right there. Ainhoa, she knew she was on her back heels there and needed to make up a lot of time. It's really, really good race ran by Julia. She knew she had that differential and just had to keep her competitor in her sights, as she does. 1 bike length is all she needed to secure her ticket into the next round. Both riders having a good time. Big smiles, so much camaraderie amongst these riders. We are at the pinnacle of the sport. If you're here, if you're riding still, you are at the peak of this sport.
So we're gonna have some fun out here for those of you who aren't joining us in Whistler, as we have for the entire season so far this year. We've got a giveaway, some Darko gear. Today it's going to be the ultraviolet jersey and gloves, as well as the gravity knee pads and short sleeve body armor. Hey, there it is. I thought we lost it, but all that stuff is in this bag right here. And what you got to do is go on to Instagram, find the most recent post with Darko and Crankworx, like it, make a comment, enter to win this entire prize pack. We're not going to piece it away. We're going to give one person all this stuff. We've been doing it all season, and the prize packs seem to just keep getting better and better.
Yeah, this bag is twice as big as the last event we did. I haven't looked in here, but man, it's probably got all of the best stuff.
Might as well play. You can't win if you don't play. Here we go, Martha Gill. Loaded up into the gate against Maylea Leaneagh. Martha with the 1.5 advantage. A great start.
Yeah, solid start out of the gate right there. We see Martha with the whole shot. And this is where things get technical as far as your planning. You see Martha falling back right there. You can play it too safe. And with slalom, you need to build your race. You don't want to be surprised from one heat to the next because you're going twice as fast as you were before. Martha, she's got a little bit of ground to make up. I don't know if she's counting on that 1.5, but she looks like she's behind right now. As Maylea is making it a tight race. Martha, foot down, coming around the turn. Can she make up enough time to make that 1.5 from round 1 count?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's good.
She knows what she's doing. Why did I even doubt her?
A lot of padding there when you have that maximum differential. So Martha Gill advances into the round of 4.
By 1.1, but she has a 1.5 to play with. So that's going to be Martha Gill moving on to round 8.
Back up here to the top, Henderson and Allen. This was our only relatively tight gap between riders in the first run here. Sophie Allen and Alaina Henderson. Alaina with the advantage of 0.7. Alaina, number 2 qualifier as well.
Both riders slingshot out of the gate. tell they've ridden some BMX in their life. 0.7 is the gap. Let's see what happens. Both riders pushing all the way down. This is that section of the trail where you can actually push and not worry so much about traction and the technicalities of the dirt as they come in. One of the things the Boneyard brings to your level of technicality, it's one of the steeper hills that we have to operate all of these events on. So the speeds have increased dramatically over any other stop this year.
Wow, look at Alaina making up speed in that final straightaway. I'm not sure where she found it. For a minute there, I was thinking that 0.7 was starting to dwindle. But she played her cards right. Alaina Henderson into the round of 4. Trying to see if Alaina had an issue in the middle because she lost a lot of ground. Super impressed with her ability to claw her way back here. Just watching that 0.7 slowly slip away.
Yeah, making time up on this track is very possible, but on the bottom half, it seems like that would be the most difficult place to make up any time on your competitor. Catching a rider out, maybe playing it a little too safe is your best bet, or just going absolutely YOLO and hoping every knobby hooks up on your way down.
So Alaina Henderson will go up against Martha Gill. We've got Jordy going up against Lofqvist Traum in the round of 4 here. Our number 2 in qualifiers, number 1 and 2 qualifiers still alive and well here. Jordy Scott against Lofqvist Traum, Martha Gill against Alaina Henderson. Whittling them down as Jordy Scott looks to increase her already substantial lead in the Queen standings, over 200 points ahead. She'd love to pad that with another 100 points out here from Slalom.
Yeah, absolutely. The day that she could put a stamp on her 2025 season with 2 of her competitors, closest competitors in that overall Queen, is missing from today's race.
So another lap here left to go to whittle our field down to 4 for the men. Austin Warren with the advantage over Frew. Gilly needs to do some work, not a lap, but just 0.19 behind Blenky. I'm looking forward to that one. What's Jackson running for tires out here, Alan?
Looks like he's got the DHR2 in the rear and a DHF in the front. 31 and 33 PSI. Now that is a lot of PSI for you mountain bikers out there. May not quite translate to that, but that is to get speed off of these rollers. Using that high pressure to turn it into momentum, but is also a gamble because you lose traction for every pound of pressure you are over. The number 9 and number 1 qualifiers right here. Jackson solid out of the gate right there.
Oh, he needs to make up 0.692. Oh my!
Jackson is going to leave everything he has on the line right here. Austin is going to have to play a super smart race by staying calm and keeping it collected, not overriding, but not letting Jackson get too far in front of him.
Is he going to do it? He needs 0.69. Jackson Frew looks like he's set to cross the line first. By how much?
What's it going to be? They come to the line. Austin goes a little wide.
0.504, so close. Austin Warren barely sneaks through this one.
Both riders skidding to a stop and staring at the Jumbotron. What happened?
No way. Basically a 1/10 of a second. Once they finish their second run there, Austin Warren delivering on the promise made by that number 1 qualifying result. He is the guy to beat out here. He just knocked out a huge heavy hitter.
Yeah, I think it might be fair to say that Austin might have been the guy to beat the last couple of years we've been here. And as we were talking about, always solid qualifying. And just some sort of little mistake, whether it be in an early round or whatever, just kind of kept him out of making it into the higher rounds here. But looking really smooth, timing that by, you know, what was it, a 100th of a second he made it?
It was like a 1/10 of a second. Yeah, love to see tight matchups like that. That's what dual slalom is all about. Jackson Frew becomes a spectator, and your number 1 qualifier, Austin Warren, is into the round of 4. Who will we meet up against? This is the one that I was most excited to see as we were looking at those brackets. just a moment ago. Ryan Gilchrist against Sam Blenkinsop. Gilchrist looking to lock up, King of Crankworx, looking to lock up the Slalom Series. He needs to make up .194 in this run to stay alive.
Sam Blenkinsop, also a former king. He knows what it takes out here. He knows who he's riding against. Gilchrist scrubbing off of that roller straight into the next one. Didn't seem to slow him down at all. Look at the pedals, and here's where they're going to tighten up. Blenkinsop rolling that and pedaling at the same time, trying to milk every ounce of momentum out of this track that he can. Goes a little wide right there, but here they come down into the technical flat turns. Gilchrist looking really solid. And here comes Blenkinsop.
Oh man, he's not gonna do it. Look at that, Sam Blenkinsop knocks out the top dog, Ryan Gilchrist. Wow.
Sam Blenkinsop was able to pull out something that no one else has on those bottom two turns. He was pedaling in those flat turns where everyone else is holding on by the skin of their teeth to have any sort of traction. I do not know how he was able to do that.
Did you see Gilly overshoot that, landing sideways by about 90 degrees?
Yeah, had a little bit of a scrub launch right there, and this is where Blanky turns it on, dropping the back end, using the trail for momentum, and pedaling at the same time. And he could see that it was possible right here. Now watch these bottom turns. Look at him pedaling in and out of those turns. So much aggression. We see Tamakasan on the chat. That was insane.
Well, if you're Tegan Cruz right now, you are really happy with the way this heat just shook down. Tegan Cruz just 25 points behind Ryan Gilchrist in the Slalom Series. Overall, Tegan Cruz still alive in today's race. Let's see how this plays out.
Still alive, but fighting for his life, going up against Luke Meier-Smith right here. Only .24. He's gonna have to make it up on that possibly faster track. Dante Silva, our number 6 qualifier. Let's see if he can upset Luke Meier-Smith right here. Both riders looking really, really clean so far. Oh, Luke Meier-Smith maybe getting a little bit hung up out of that turn, and Dante Silva able to capitalize on it. It's not over yet though, as they're coming down to the super tech top flat turns.
We've seen some amazing things on this rider's left side in this final straightaway though. Not this time. Dante Silva through the line first. Will it be enough? Dante advances, sending Luke Meier-Smith to the showers. Oh my gosh, it was only 100th of a second. Once both runs were added together, Dante Silva into the round of 4. Man, we're seeing some tight matchups here in the men's category. This is nuts.
Yeah, sick runs, no doubt. Both riders absolutely on the edge, knowing that their fate in this race is up to every single run. Yeah, Luke had a little bit of a stall coming out of a turn and was just fighting the whole way back. And Dante able to keep his composure. You can see their suspension moving a lot more than it has been in previous races. You can tell that these riders are fighting for traction by letting pressure out of their tires, letting pressure out of their suspension. It's a game of balance out here.
Head-to-head action.
This was one of the most exciting rounds. Previously, only a .009 difference right here between Tegan Cruz and Ryder Lawrence. Tegan Cruz, our second fastest, and also the man who can capitalize on the fact that Ryan Gilchrist has just been eliminated. Tegan Cruz looking incredibly solid right there, getting 5 pedals up and over that jump. Ryder Lawrence is not going to give it to him though. Pulls back up alongside. This is where the pressure is all going to build into these dangerous flat corners. Tegan Cruz rides it absolutely perfect. Double tire drifting coming across the line.
Look at that, just .11 separates these two. Tegan, Cruz into the round of 4. I'm sitting here feverishly doing the math. So Tegan making it into the round of 4 right now means the minimum amount of points he can secure is 50. If I'm reading this right, he needs to get more points. He needs to at least finish 3rd in order to still get enough points to overshadow Ryan Gilchrist. There's a difference of 18 points since Gilly's minimum points, if he finishes 8th, is 32. More work to do here for Tegan Cruz. This is gonna come down to the wire for the overall.
Man, I'm impressed. I didn't even see a calculator come out or anything.
My daughter's in 6th grade. I've been brushing up on my math skills.
You have young kids. Basic math should be on point.
Tegan doing exactly what he needed to do right there. To think that it was just .11 away from him not making it into the round of 4. Tegan, great to see you out there again. Obviously, your first big Crankworx win came in Cairns at the last stop during slalom. You know, there's a lot on the line right now with the series overall points. You just advanced out of that round by just .11. I'm doing the math. You are so close, but your job's not done out here today. How much of that is in your helmet? Are you just focusing on the next corner in front of you?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to not think about all the overalls and everything, but just loving it out here, racing in front of the hometown crowd and my family, and yeah, loving every minute.
Yeah, Tegan, well, you are into the round of 4. You're going to be going up against Dante Silva. Best of luck, my man.
Thank you.
Yeah, nothing better than competing in front of your friends and family. Let's hopefully, you know, he's hoping to have that championship party tonight. Hopefully a big dinner for him and his crew.
I think he needs to make it into at least the bronze medal matchup out here. I mean, if he wins, where he's looking pretty good. I think that's where his sights need to be set right now, is to just take that win, those 100 points. Completely helpless right now is Ryan Gilchrist, as he's been relegated to the spectator area. It's gonna be fun to follow here. We got Austin Warren and Sam Blenkinsop, and then Dante Silva and Tegan Cruz. Well, today is our first broadcast competition here at Specialized Dual Slalom, but we had one for the fans, the on-site fans out here yesterday. It is a Crankworx Whistler staple. The whip-off, not on Crabapple, right here in the middle of the village. I'm looking at the jump right here from the announcer's booth. You were out there riding, Alan.
Yeah,
people are going higher and wearing baggier pants than I've ever seen before. It was pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, pretty awesome whip-off out there. They moved it from Crabapple down here last year, and I think the crowd was ready for it. The festival vibe during whip-off was over the top. Probably 5,000 to 10,000 people lining the hills, lining the boneyard, with all the riders giving it everything they got.
I mean, obviously it's always about getting sideways in the whip-off, but this year seemed more about amplitude than any other year I can remember. The top riders, 6 or 7 feet higher than the rest of the field. We had riders like Matt Bagg coming out here and pedaling into this jump.
Yeah, it's a unique jump with the lip being quite steep and the run-in giving you way more speed than you need. You could translate that speed into altitude by just pulling back if you're feeling frisky.
There we go, cornflakes. Taking the win for the men. Janelle Suka taking the win for the women. And just as per tradition, every year you got the wingnuts out there throwing Supermans, throwing flat spins. And there's the look at your podium. Janelle Suka just securing her Red Bull Rampage invite, announcing that yesterday. So she'll take the momentum from the Whistler Whip-Offs win into the desert come October.
Yeah, a lot of fresh faces on that Rampage invite list. Really excited for a whole new competition this year.
Who had your favorite pants yesterday in Whip-Off? It seemed like just as much about pants as it was whips.
More than just who was your favorite pants, I want to know who your favorite pants to bike matching combo there was.
Man, I like to picture everybody in their hotel room before coming out to Whip-Off, just syncing the kit to the bike. It's a thing.
It's a thing. It's a style contest, and that does not stop when we're talking about what you're wearing.
Getting a look at our women's brackets now. Jordy Scott, Lofqvist, Traum, number 1 and 5 qualifiers, and then Martha Gill and Alaina Henderson, heat number 2 in this round of 4 matchup. Jordy Scott, I don't want to, it's hers to win. I don't like the phrase it's hers to lose. It sounds kind of negative, you know? This one's hers to win, so she better not mess it up. That's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, she definitely has an advantage with being able to do that shark fin jump that the other riders are not doing, but it ain't over. Anything can happen. This is slalom, this is head-to-head competition. This is the boneyard, it's slippery. Let's see what she's got.
Lofqvist, Traum in the gate.
First round of the semi slaps down. Jordy Scott with a nice hole shot, and this is where her advantage is, able to get up and over that shark fin. We see Julia having to check up there, and right there, that's where she gets the advantage. We were talking about a shortcut on time. You can see her just really take off from her other competitor when she hits that shark fin.
Jordy Scott, I mean, we're looking for her to win the race out here today because she's the #1 qualifier and she's on another level on this track. But it is not mathematically possible for her not to win the slalom series overall at this point. So there's already a lot to celebrate, but it would make it that much sweeter to take another gold medal out here today. Fastest time of the day there for Jordy Scott. Another 1.5. All right, well, we asked you what technique wins dual slalom, being the aggressor or being the calculated assassin. And it seems to be pretty unanimous here. Full attack mode seems to be what the fans at home think is the way to go.
When in doubt, attack.
Just turn your brain off, go really, really fast. All right, Martha Gill, Alaina Henderson, run #1 of their semifinals matchup.
Martha Gill getting that whole shot right there. You know she would love the opportunity to repeat her win here from last year. Such an exciting time last year, locking up that win, locking up the queen. She's definitely going to keep that going this year. But Alaina pulling up right next to her. Oh, and we see a little bit of a slide out from Martha right there.
I don't know how she saved that. I thought for sure she was losing that front end.
Because she's the queen, that's how.
She's got that extra, she's weighting the front tire with all the weight of that crown.
And looks like Alaina just asked a little bit too much from that front tire traction. That's such a technical part of the track. Not only is it the loosest, it's actually a crest. And what does that mean? Gravity is not your friend in a crest. You're unweighting those tires at the exact moment you need the most traction. That's what makes that drop in so technical.
Was that our fault? We were talking about weighting the front end, right, when she lost front traction. Sorry about that, Alaina. Here we go. Let's see if we get another glimpse at Martha almost throwing it away here. Throwing that right-hander. Here we go.
Watch the front tire of Martha right here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, just on the top. That is one of those things. It can look like a berm. It looks like something you could just lean into and look out of the turn and trust, but it's about ankle-deep moon dust.
Martha was actually able to get unclipped right there. That front tire thrown up roost, that's not what you're hoping for in a flat corner right there on a dual slalom track. She was able to hold it together. She'll have probably a max dip, 1.5 there over Henderson.
Just letting it simmer. That's how you do it out here on the dual slalom. You cannot put everything you have into it. It's like basting a turkey. You know, you don't put all of the flavor on it at once. You got to add flavor as you go. So then at the end, when it comes out of the oven, you have the fastest run.
Who's going to have the best turkey at the end of this race? I feel like the only danger for Jordy Scott is for her to overcook her turkey right now. You think of a scenario if Martha is able to go up against Jordy in the gold medal matchup. It's not over. We've seen crazier things happen, even though Jordy has the cheat code with that shark fin. So I mentioned at the top of the show, we do have a double broadcast today. We've got all kinds of fun stuff planned for you. So nestle in a nice little rut into your couch, get a lot of snacks ready. because we're gonna experiment with a new event later this evening, the OR, Outdoor Research Trick Showdown. It's coming up 5:30 p.m. local time. We're streaming it live on Red Bull TV. It's not your typical best trick jam. This is a head-to-head bracketed format, just like you're seeing here in dual slalom. We're gonna have 8 riders for the men, and I believe it's 4 riders for the women. You're gonna go 2 runs each bracket. You're not allowed to repeat your trick, and we will split the field in half, just like we're doing here in slalom. I think it's gonna be pretty fun to watch. We have some big name riders with some crazy combos. I can't wait to see how they strategize choosing tricks, considering they're not allowed to repeat tricks. So the round of 4, AKA the semifinals for the men, looks a little something like this, Alan.
Yeah, we see some top riders' names right there. Austin Warren, our fastest qualifier. Sam Blenkinsop has the momentum, I think you could say. Having that upset in the last round is where things are going to get really fast, so keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, Sam could mess this up for Bubba right now.
Yeah, Austin with a nice start out of there. He doesn't look too aggressive. He's keeping Sam in his sights right out of the corner of his eye, but this is where we saw Blenkinsop make up time right there. You see him drop the back tire and pedal, pedaling in the air, increasing his speed while he's not even on the ground somehow. Austin able to pull it back right next to him. This is where they're gonna have to stay calm, but still push. Blenkinsop coming around these turns using that bike. You saw Blenkinsop use that trail bike.
300s.
Getting every ounce of traction out of those tires that he could on those flat bottom turns. He's got something locked in. He's got some line. I don't know if there's a little rut or something, but that was 2 in a row that he was able to accelerate to the finish.
Blenkinsop is so fast in that final straightaway, but don't look now, so is Austin Warren. Austin almost throwing it away there at the bottom, though.
Yeah, it was close. He could feel Blenkinsop coming. Blenkinsop could smell the blood in the water.
How deep is that trench getting on that left-hand berm? It's going to be fun to see that thing continue to deteriorate through these rounds. Here we go.
Blenky's able to get on the ground super fast after that crest right there.
That moment there where Austin loses traction around the right-hander, he's lifting up his front tire while that back tire is still sliding. That was some serious bike control.
Back up we go.
Okay, Dante Silva, Tegan Cruz, a lot to play for here for Tegan Cruz, the rider on the right side of your screen. He could win the series today, but he's got more work to do. With Ryan Gilchrist out, even if Tegan finishes in 4th, he's still gonna need more points. He needs to make it out of this round.
Solid start out of both riders right there. Dante Silva looks like he has a slight advantage. Tegan Cruz railing those turns. He sees the championship right in front of him. He knows what he needs to do. Absolutely shrouded that turn. The rut is getting so deep. Knowing where to be in the turns is getting riskier and riskier. Coming up alongside. Oh, huge drift out of Tegan Cruz right there coming into the finish. He's able to keep it together.
It's going to be about a 1/4 of a second disadvantage there for Tegan Cruz after that slide out. I'm just blown away he was able to keep that bike from hitting the ground. Dante Silva with a lead here.
It is far from over, but you saw Tegan Cruz could almost taste it.
Look at that. That wasn't just a good enough run to give him the advantage over Tegan Cruz in this matchup. That was the fastest time of the day there, posted by Dante Silva. What a save there for Tegan Cruz.
Oh, he had a little bit of a mistake up top too, so maybe the pressure of the championship getting to him.
Probably doesn't help that we're bringing it up when we throw him on the headset, does it?
That's the pressure you have to deal with when you're at the peak of what's happening in your sport. And watch right here, drifts a little bit. How did he save that gate? How does he save that? And you can see him straight back on the pedals, focus right back on the course, knowing he has a job to do. Dante Silva, you see him nodding his head. He knew that was a good run. I wonder if he knew that was the fastest time of the day on the track.
Man, it's the run he needed right then. And that was the save that Tegan needed to keep his hopes alive. If he were to have missed that gate, which I can't believe he didn't, we would have been done talking about Tegan and Cruz's chances at taking this slalom series. A dual slalom in general is just so fun to watch. It's such a classic mountain bike event. You see riders out here on a trail bike. This is the same type of bike that they go out and ride for fun every single day, like we see Cody Kelly doing right here on screen. It's a great discipline, the fact that we can just line the course here with spectators and fans in the finish line corral. They're all able to take it in and really relate to it. These riders out here on these stock trail bikes. As you'd mentioned, Alan, these riders really paying attention to the bike setup today with this course, kind of evolving the way it has over the afternoon.
There's so much you can do for the control of your bike, the braking, traction, the speed you're gonna go, all just with a half a PSI of pressure. When you're riding this close to the edge, any small change to your setup is gonna make a huge difference.
Give us a comment in the chat box below, 1, 2, or 3 for your answer. The question being, what's the toughest part of slalom? Switching lanes midway, mental game at the gate, or cornering at full commitment? I'm gonna give you my answer. I think mental game at the gate. Once that gate drops and you're riding, it's all instinct. But sitting there waiting for that gate to drop, I think is the hardest part. What about you, Alan?
Yeah, I mean, it depends for different riders where their focus is. If their mental game is strong, you can kind of get inside your competitor's head a little bit. Maybe, you know, be more relaxed than you are, throw out a couple of pieces of information that might be wrong. But yeah, these riders are definitely having to keep their emotions under control, because any emotion the wrong direction or overcooking it, it's going to come out on the track.
I like your answers so far out there. Cornering at full commitment is definitely a huge factor on this track. Every track's got its own personality, and we've had a lot of great slalom races so far this season. We've had Rotorua, Cairns, and Silver Star, the Crankworx Summer Series in Silver Star just a couple weeks ago. Tegan Cruz still in the game for the men now. He took second at Silver Star. And for the women, Jordy was second. We see her in the gate right now. The rider to beat in today's competition, another 1.5 she's defending right now. Jordy Scott, max differential over Julia Lofqvist Traum. Here we go.
Julia getting a little bit off rhythm right there, but able to keep her bike on the track. That was a pretty fast run around that shark fin, but not really much you can do when Jordy's doing stuff like that. You know, you might ask yourself a question at home, well, why aren't all the riders doing it? This is not just a given, this track. They have pushed the limits on what a slalom track is. And when James Stewart was doing quads in the rhythm section that no one was doing, no one asked why they weren't doing it.
Because it's hard.
Because it's really hard.
We could also show the crash reel from earlier on. Caroline Buchanan going down. She obviously was leading the series, so she is no slouch when it comes to dual slalom. She's the best in the world up until this point with that small little mistake. Now Jordy Scott capitalizing on that. One step closer to taking the win out here today as she has locked up the series. Great to see. And you know what? We obviously don't have speed and style this year, but those speed and style skills that Jordy Scott has accumulated over the past few seasons have definitely helped her in finding the cheat code for this course, airing out that shark fin.
Yeah, being comfortable on those big speed and style jumps, I'm sure plays a part in her being able to get that shark fin in, as well as her time in BMX racing. A lot more jumps in BMX racing. That was an amazing save out to Julia right there. But yeah, both riders pushing all the way to the finish, and Jordy able to advance.
Jordy, you're on another level out here in the specialized dual slalom. We're calling it the cheat code, the fact that you're jumping that shark fin. It took out a lot of your competitors. What is that feature all about, and how were you able to muster up the courage to jump it every single lap?
It's pretty tricky. I think on the rider's right side, it's a lot harder with that tight berm after. So I'm just trying to focus on being smooth out of the gate, not really thinking about a race until I get over that feature. But it was scary with those big crashes this morning and just trying to stay in my own head, not watch the videos of the other people crashing, and yeah, just doing my best.
Well, it's working for you. You're looking pretty darn good in the slalom series overall. We don't have to talk about that quite yet because I know you have your eyes on the prize for that gold medal. Best of luck out there in the next few laps.
Thank you.
I don't really want to tell her she's wrapped up the overall. It might get, you know, kind of get her a little bit too psyched and take her attention off of those corners where it really needs to be. Martha Gill here defending a 1.5 advantage.
Yeah, I haven't heard any fat ladies singing. It ain't over yet. Martha with a solid start right there. These riders will go to BMX tracks and practice those gates and practice that pumping. That's where they're gonna learn the advantages they need, but right here, Alaina getting quite the advantage right now on Martha Gill. I'm not sure what happened with Martha. Maybe she's playing a little bit too safe, but Alaina is really sending it. She sees an opportunity, even though with that 1.5, it is not over. She really wants to get into that bronze medal matchup. She's gonna push. Oh, and right there, just over the line. Unfortunately, looked like her front end washed out. Little bit of a high side right there.
I thought for a second, I was like, whoa, 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 is Alaina gonna do this? Martha was kind of cruising back there. Of course, she had the 1.5 second pad, but Alaina Henderson going down right as she entered the final straightaway over that crest.
Yeah, I think Martha got away with one right there. Alaina was really, really pushing towards the bottom, and that's where, you know, she took the opportunity to just leave it all out on the course and push it just a little too far, but she looks healthy, she looks happy, and nothing to regret after that run.
Well, Alaina will move into the bronze to fight it out for the bronze medal matchup there, the small final.
This was where she took off, and you see right there, she kind of just blasted in between that shark fin. Alaina was able to keep her momentum by that go-around a lot better than Martha was, and she just pushed all the way to the finish. Well, almost to the finish.
Here we go. Can you get a better angle and figure out exactly what happened here?
Yeah, she goes out of frame right there. We don't see it. Watch the front tire right there, fighting to get around these really tight turns. Oh, and just hooks up and high sides.
Martha into the gold medal matchup. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On finding yourself into that position. What's this track like today? We've been watching the conditions deteriorate. There's some big jumps out there. How have those challenges been for you?
Yeah, it's been rough and loose. It's a techie course. It's got a bit of everything. It's cool. It's got the rhythm at the top and then rough berms and these flat corners at the bottom. Opting to not do the shark fin at the top because, I mean, I crashed in Road to Run, crashed in Cairns as well, so I don't really feel like risking my life at the moment, but I've made peace with just rolling through that feature, but I've really been enjoying the rest of the course.
Yeah, we've been enjoying watching you. You're the defending champion out here today. You won slalom last year here in Whistler. What do you think it's going to be like in the gate going up against Jordy for that gold medal here again today?
I mean, I'm not going to take any crazy risks. Jordy's got it super on lock, so I'm just going to enjoy watching her rip it up and hopefully not be too far behind.
Well, we're looking forward to watching that. Congratulations on making it into the final, Martha.
Thank you.
There we have it. Jordy Scott, Martha Gill will race for the gold medal. And then Henderson and Lofqvist Traum. One of them will take away the bronze and those series points. 60 points up for grabs for third place. And for the men, Austin Warren still alive here, but he's gonna have to claw back from a differential. It's a tight one, 0.036. Blenkinsop put it to him and run number one. And then Dante, Silva, and Tegan Cruz. Tegan Cruz gonna have to claw back from a differential as well. So you got our 1 and 2 qualifiers now behind the 8 ball if they want to make it into the gold medal matchup.
If any track is faster, it's the white side, which Blenkinsop is on. But his advantage in the earlier rounds was his ability to get around those bottom turns. If he can combine those two things, he just might be able to make up that 0.036.
Austin needs to make up that 300th of a second.
Sam Blenkinsop is going to push right here. This is where he's going to start really riding the edge of what he can do on this track. He knows he needs to be in front of me. Pulls just alongside, gets a little bit in front. Oh! Overcooks it into that bottom final turn. We heard him.
Oh, that's going to be it right there. Austin Warren betters the .036 he needed. He will find himself into the gold medal matchup. The #1 qualifier, claws from behind, is still alive.
Yeah, Sam just overrode that, or he was offline by a millimeter maybe, and his rear end completely lost traction, drifted all the way into those flat turns, and his momentum was gone by the time he got there. Let's look at Austin right now. Looking really calm, like he can kind of pick and choose when he wants to turn it on and turn it off. A rider in control of his destiny is what I see right now. Just outside of that rut, unfortunately, with that back tire, and that threw Blenkinsop's day off.
Austin Warren, the #1 qualifier. You made it through Frew. You just knocked out Sam Blenkinsop, but he made you work for it. What was it like right there? Really tight race in that final straightaway.
This is a tough course. Every run, I'm letting pressure out. Every run of the tires, it's just like, all right, I need to go a little more. But then you got the top corners that are just rippers. So you don't roll your tires, but I was asking Sam, I was like, hey, how do you accelerate so much out of these corners? And I'm just feeling like I'm bogging. But that's what happens when you race every weekend and getting to have fun, and just can't believe I'm back here in the finals.
No, it's great to see, man. It's been a while since we've seen you in the finals. When we saw you with that #1 qualification spot, we said, oh, there might be a chance. Tell me, I feel like you like it when the track is challenging like this.
Yeah, I mean, coming from the moto side and just riding at home with Kyle and all the boys here. Dante's a couple weeks ago and U.S. national champs. It was frustrating, but we had a lot of loose dirt, so it's nothing new, but it's interesting. It's going to be a tough race for the finals, but that's what we came here for, and have a cool show.
It all comes down to this. It'd be cool to see you on the top of that box. Best of luck there, Bubba.
Thanks, Ken.
Awesome to see Austin accepting the challenge this course is giving him and really putting it to the Boneyard slalom track here today.
Man, the slalom scene they do have in the San Diego area is insane. Here I'm making reference to Kyle Strait. Unfortunately, we moved the event to Thursday. He wasn't able to get here in time for it, but Austin Warren holding it down for the Alpine crew. Here we go, Dante Silva with the advantage of .275 over Tegan Cruz. Tegan needs to make it happen here if he wants to take the overall.
And if there's any question, if he knows that, look at how hard he's pedaling in and out of these turns, pumping these rollers, struggling for speed, hopping into that one. He is showing us why he is the #2 qualifier. He goes wide right there. Did he get back around those gates? I didn't see anything right there. Is it going to be enough?
Man, what did he need? Here we go, Tegan Cruz through the line first. Will it be enough? Not going to do it. Tegan Cruz out. Dante Silva into the gold medal matchup. Wow. Oh, this is going to be some fun math here. Tegan still with the chance to take 3rd place. Oh, man.
Yeah, I didn't see anything wrong out of him. Look at the aggression out of Tegan. He knows Dante is fast. He was giving everything he had and looked like he had it right here. He kind of made a little bit of a push as he hopped on, and you see Dante have a little bit of a mistake going into that one. And right here, he had more momentum and drift. Boom. Looked like that hole that Sam Blenkinsop created from that previous run might have caught him just a little off guard. Look at how smooth Dante was around those turns. Barely holding on to the bike as his front tires just skipping across the beam.
It's coming down to the wire here. I'm sitting here trying to figure out the math. Tegan Cruz still has the chance to take 3rd place points. Trying to figure out what place Ryan Gilchrist will finish in, as he wasn't able to make it into the round of 4. But with that aside, the stage is set here. Our gold medal matchup will be Austin Warren going up against Dante Silva. The SoCal final. Sam Blenkinsop with a chance to take the bronze and upset the hopes and dreams of Tegan Cruz for the overall. Tegan Cruz still somewhat alive. Blenkinsop also third in King of Crankworx overall, so he's got points on his mind. Well, thanks for joining us here on Red Bull TV. Make sure you follow at Crankworx on Instagram for all the updates from all the different disciplines we have. We've still got the Rock Shocks Canadian Open Downhill. We've still got the Outdoor Research Trick Showdown. We've got Pump Track, and we've got Sunday. A little schedule change. It's gonna be Sunday now, Super Bowl Sunday, as per the old tradition. Red Bull Joyride coming at you. Tim Bringer from France, the opportunity to try to take the Triple Crown. It's gonna be a good one. We're just getting things started here. Crankworx Whistler 2025.
Been hearing some special feedback from some of these riders on this Joyride course. The best Joyride course ever has been a pretty regular comment from some of these riders. Just so much fun they're having, they said. So flowy, but all of that fun is gonna meet up on Sunday when they need to throw down their biggest and their best.
There we go, Jordy Scott with the cheat code into the gold medal matchup against reigning Queen Martha Gill. Lofqvist, Traum, and Alaina. Henderson battle it out for bronze. Should be getting run number one loaded into the gate right now. We will see run number one of that bronze medal matchup first.
Is that the storm? Is it coming?
It's, I mean, if you look at the radar, it is coming. The bike park needs it though. It's been a while. It's been a dry, hot summer out here in Whistler. Turn the sprinklers on for a little bit and then get back to your scheduled programming on Saturday and Sunday.
Medal rounds. Time to give out some hardware here at the Specialized Slalom.
Julia Lofqvist, Traum, Alaina Henderson, run number one of this bronze medal matchup.
Alaina with a solid gate out of there, our number 2 qualifier. You know she would like to go home with at least a bronze medal to really back that up. Julia pulling out a little faster through that go-around over the shark fin. This is where we saw Alaina in the last heat really pick up her speed towards the bottom. She did have that mistake right there. Julia, what a save. Chest on the handlebars, able to keep her momentum going and climb back on that bike to finish off this run. Alaina smells blood in the water. Here they come down on a double tire drift, and Alaina overcooks. That gate right there, that's gonna be a maximum differential. You can see Alaina a little frustrated right there. She smelled blood in the water after that mistake Julia made. Really tried to capitalize on it, but overcooked that turn.
Yeah, that save up top was remarkable. I thought we were gonna see a massive mousetrap.
Little headset check.
Can you get a 5 mil to aisle 1, please?
All right, let's take a look back up and see what got him to the bottom. Let's see what you saw, Cam. I missed it.
Here we go. Right. There we go, here we go. Coming out of this smaller left-hand shark fin, a little bit short on that landing.
Oh, yeah, weight went a bit forward. She almost went over the front end of the bike, but was able, I think every push-up she's ever done in her life paid off in that moment.
And then Alaina here, falling victim to a missed gate. It all started right there, a little bit offline. And she recovered decently well until this right-hander here. We do not have to slow that tape down. That's obviously a missed gate. So Alaina Henderson will have to claw back from a 1.5 maximum differential here. Julia sitting pretty for that bronze medal, but like we say, anything can happen.
Yeah, you could see that really, that mistake compounding on her way down. Really, it was 3 turns before a mistake that happened that caused Alaina to be late, and then even more late, and then so late she was able to miss that turn.
So next up, we're going to see the bronze medal matchup run 1 between Tegan Cruz and Sam Blenkinsop. And then it'll all be about the gold medal matchup, Austin Warren and Dante Silva. But thinking about Tegan Cruz, the reason why he's sitting second in the series standings is because he got his first pro win back in May in Australia. We saw him on the top of the podium in the junior categories as he was finding his way through those ranks, and now he's a top pro, finally taking his first gold medal in slalom in Cairns. It was good to see. You see he posted noting that it was a great night, racing friends, thanking everybody for all the support, and now he's got even more support out here in front of the hometown crowd. And the jury's still out on how many points Ryan Gilchrist is going to walk away from this slalom with, and if Tegan still has a chance to take the overall slalom standings. But just watching this clip here of him taking that win in Cairns, it looks sped up.
It does look sped up, but one of the things I'm noticing is how much different of a track that was, the skills you need to be able to perform on a track like that versus on a track like what we have here today in the Boneyard. It's showing me that really nothing can stop him. His variety and his skills, they cross over all categories and all sort of conditions.
Yeah, he's a downhiller at heart, and those skills are seeming to really pay off in this specialized dual slalom. So, bronze medal, will it go to Tegan Cruz or Sam Blenkinsop? We're 2 runs away from answering that question. We're still a little ways away from answering the question of whether or not a bronze medal would give Tegan Cruz the overall win for the slalom series.
We saw Sam Blenkinsop making a couple of small mistakes in the earlier rounds down low, so you know he's got his sights set on those sections, really gonna push it to make sure he's pinpoint perfect in that section.
Here we go, Sam Blenkinsop and Tegan Cruz, bronze medal matchup, run number 1.
Tegan Cruz solid out of the gate. Looks like he got a slight hole shot over Sam Blenkinsop. Really just gonna have to ride his own race right now if Tegan wants to be able to beat Sam, because Sam is riding unbelievable. You cannot let that get in your head. Tegan pulled a little bit back ahead. They're gonna come together again here at the bottom. Remember, the white might be slightly faster, but Tegan, he's able to pull right alongside. Blenkinsop able to keep it smooth in that upper section. Both riders absolutely unleashing every bit of energy on that final sprint. Tegan with a .146 advantage over Sam Blenkinsop going into the second head-to-head matchup for this bronze medal round. Tegan knows he needs to be perfect. He needs to get every point he can out of this bracket. Such an amazing scrub straight into that next roller out of Tegan. Blenkinsop able to really double up on what causes momentum. You can pedal or you can pump, and Blenkinsop is able to combine those two things more than anybody else on the way down this track. Bit of a hole showing itself on that rider's right white side. Sam was able to navigate that, but man, look how close they were. We haven't seen too many riders come away with the advantage from that rider's left course, so you know Tegan is on point. It's his race to hand over to Blenkinsop in the next round.
So Jordy Scott back in the gate right now alongside the defending champion and reigning queen of Crankworx, Martha Gill.
Come build my freshest.
Jordy shared the
Do not own a headset.
bike build of this little bike right here. Take a look. She's walking us through it too. It's a daunting task to put every piece on that bike, starting from a bare frame. But all the choices seem to be working out for her out there today. The short travel hyper frame, Shimano Saint build.
If you're wondering about building an entire bike, I highly recommend you do it, because then you can fix whatever problem you have, right? You know what to do.
You know how the pizza was made. All right, gold medal matchup, run number 1 here. Number 1 qualifier, Jordy Scott, up against defending champ Martha Gill.
Watch this top portion of the section of the course right here. That's where Jordy's gonna need to be perfect. And she gets up and over that shark fin, gains a huge amount of an advantage over Martha Gill right there. Now she's just gonna need to keep it calm, keep it composed, not make any mistakes. She's doing just that right here, leaning in early, braking heavy, nice and smooth.
Oh man, all it would take is a missed gate right there.
Yeah, just a little tiptoe, doing what she needs to do right there.
Although, I mean, she's crossing the finish line with 1.5. She could technically miss a gate and make things really interesting for run number 2, but she kept it smooth. And Jordy Scott, 1 run away from taking the gold out here.
You can see Jordy just kind of cruising. She knows where her advantages are on the track, and it's right there where it cut out, where she jumps into the shark fin. Is able to gain about 2 seconds just in that one section on this track in a race so rapid like the specialized dual slalom. There's really no coming back after that.
I like what she said when we had her on headset interview a moment ago as well. It sounds like jumping the jump isn't really the challenge. It's handling that speed coming into that right-hander after jumping the jump.
Yeah, that's what happened to Sabina Korsakova. She made the jump in practice, but wasn't able to make the turn after, and it was about a 10-foot drop on the other side from what I heard. So hopefully she's okay, and we're gonna see her back maybe later in the week for pump track.
All right, back to the top right now. The gold medal matchup, run number 1. First place qualifier, Austin Warren, going up against Dante Silva.
I feel like Austin was set to be in this position the last couple of years we were here. He's here now. Can he execute against Dante Silva? Solid gate out of both riders. Hard to tell. Can't see who got the whole shot out of that one. A little bit different rhythm right there, and it looked like it paid off for Austin. He's able to gain about a half a wheel length right there. They're going to tighten up in these turns. When the inside rider goes inside, they're going to tighten up. Oh, no way! That is what has crept up into his day here time and time again. This time he was able to make it into the gold medal matchup, but again, another small mistake compounding into a possible gold medal and a first place qualification slipping through his fingers.
This is the way it goes in dual slalom sometimes. That's why we keep saying it. That's why dual slalom is never boring. Dante Silva now all of a sudden finding himself in the gold medal matchup with a 1.5 advantage coming into run number 2.
Yeah, heartbreaker for Bubba right there, but Dante able to just build his day exactly the way he needs.
Well, the crazy thing is anything can still happen in run number 2. It's not over yet for number 1 qualifier Austin Warren, but it's just going to be a way steeper climb to get there. That is the mime version of explaining what just happened.
Yeah, his front tire washed out.
Man.
Yeah, the riders were super, super close all the way up until that point where Bubba Warren has this washout. Let's see what happened.
Whoa.
Back tire just slightly outside of that rut. And there was no coming back from that spot.
Treacherous trench of sand. We've seen that loosen up some front tires earlier today, and this is the first time we've seen it really play a part in the results. Austin Warren not out, just a whole lot less likely now for him to take the gold medal. But one thing's for sure, he's going to give it his best effort here in run number 2. If you know Austin Warren, you know that's the case. So time for run number 2, the bronze medal matchup for the women. And that means one thing, we're giving away hardware at the bottom of this run. Alaina, Julia loading up for their final run of the day. Remembering the missed gate from Alaina Henderson from run number 1 in this bronze medal matchup. So a lot of 1.5 so far in these late matchups here. Everything was going pretty good for Alaina. We saw that bobble here from Julia with the save. We thought there was a chance for Alaina until the bottom. Missed gate. Look back.
Yeah, the race was super even up until this point right here. You see that mistake out of Julia, and Alaina smells blood in the water, and just like a shark, she started pointing right towards that target of winning this matchup. And right there, you saw her go a little wide, and that compounded wide there, and not enough to get back on course.
The domino effect, the chain reaction of setting up just one corner a little less than ideal can snowball its way down the course, resulting in a 1.5 disadvantage, but all is not lost. Anything can happen, as you've seen. Alaina Henderson and Julia Lofqvist Traum. Final run of this bronze medal matchup.
Alaina Henderson is going to leave everything out on this course right here. You never know what's going to happen behind you. You just need to look forward and do what you need to do. A 1.5 is a mountain to climb, but it's not out of the question. Right here, Alaina gaining a couple of bike lengths over Julia. The bottom section looks a little faster on the rider's left, which is the side Julia's on, so maybe she's waiting to put that pressure on. Alaina got it clean right there.
Oh, no, Alaina down. She was pulling away a little bit. I thought there could be a chance.
Alaina's learned some lessons about the specialized dual slalom right here. That's 3 times she's overridden a turn and just enough to wash out.
Well, Julia Lofqvist Traum taking home the bronze medal in the specialized dual slalom. Alaina Henderson, you know, I guess when you have 2 mistakes, it's harder to really beat yourself up over one of them. So one thing's for sure, Alaina Henderson definitely threw all caution to the wind on her quest of trying to grab that bronze medal, but it goes to Julia Lofqvist Traum, our first bit of hardware for the day. All right, Sam Blenkinsop, Tegan, Cruz loading into the gate. Let's remind ourselves how it went in run number 1.
So this was run 1 of this bronze medal matchup right here. We saw Tegan absolutely launching out of the gate right there. Blenkinsop pedaling through the air, trying to give it everything he's got. And remember, we've seen most of the wins come out of this Ryder's Right white course, but somehow, with the motivation of the championship dangling in front of him, able to push all the way, Tegan Cruz all the way down to the finish line and get that advantage coming into the next round.
So I've been doing some math. Tegan would need 85 points, and the most he can win by getting bronze is 60. So the Slalom Series is going to go to Ryan Gilchrist. Congratulations to him there. But Tegan Cruz wants to add to his trophy case here. He got the gold in cans. He would love a bronze here. He needs to make up just a .146. No, Tegan Cruz has the .146. Sam Blenkinsop fighting from behind here.
Yeah, Tegan's gonna really send it right here. Knowing he lost the championship with that mistake, he's at least gonna want to go with the bronze medal around his neck. But
look at Blenkinsop.
Blenkinsop is not gonna give it to him. Leg out, flat out. Oh, Tegan's able to hold on. He's going wide. He's able to ring it back in.
Tegan Cruz grabs the bronze medal. That'll look nice alongside that Cannes gold.
It's going to be a tough pill to swallow with the fastest time of the day. Right there, he's going to wonder what could have been, but a bronze is what it's going to be for him today.
Look at Sam Blenkinsop in just true Blanky fashion. Full ETs off one of these jumps, sprinting through the air.
It looked like at one point, Tegan's roost was completely blocking the line from Sam. He just threw a leg out and drifted around the turn blind.
Blanky needed to make up a .146, and man, he was willing to try anything to pull that off. Tegan Cruz just so consistent all day out here, being rewarded with the bronze medal. So Tegan also adding 60 points to the King tally as well. He's sitting in second place there behind Ryan Gilchrist. Narrowing the gap just a touch. All right, it comes down to this gold medal matchup for the women. Jordy Scott, your #1 qualifier, with a 1.5 advantage over Martha Gill. Martha Gill, the defending champion out here in specialized dual slalom Whistler, and the reigning queen of Crankworx. We gotta see Jordy continue the consistency out here.
This is where it matters for Jordy. If she gets this gap right there, she launches in front of her competitors every run, but we haven't seen her really shut it down after that. She keeps improving her time, getting faster and faster times per day, so you can tell she's focused. It's when you check up is when the mistakes come. So Jordy doing what she needs to do, even though she has that advantage. Really gonna need to stay focused. She's gonna get to the bottom. It's all coming down here. This is where as a rider you start hearing things from your bike. Shadows start moving, but not today. The demons will not get her.
Jordy Scott secures the gold medal. Martha Gill with the silver.
And Jordy Scott right there with 4 of the 5 fast times of the day.
I mean, there's a lot to celebrate right here for the fastest times of the day. The slalom series overall goes to Jordy Scott and the gold medal from Whistler. Not bad for a day's work.
Champ.
Diana Connor weighing into the conversation. Thanks for the input there. You're right, Jordy just can't lose. That shark fin is magic for her. We're calling it the cheat code all day long. Tough to beat unless she made a mistake, because she pulls away through having the guts to gap that feature.
And it was no gimme. We heard her talk about it. It was very, very technical. So this is a perfect case of risk versus reward. Jordy knew what was on the line for the overall, and she came out and risked it all for the win.
Jordy, holy moly, congratulations. You got a lot to celebrate right now. Gold medal from Specialized Dual Slalom here today. The series championship from the 2025 Slalom overall. Congratulations. I got a question for you. Alan was mentioning during those runs, sometimes it's such a hard position to be in when you know that you're trying to avoid mistakes rather than just focusing on riding as fast as you can. What was the mental aspect like out there today?
Yeah, it was tricky. Those bottom turns were definitely not made for me on this smaller bike. So I was making sure I wasn't thinking about not making a mistake. I was just thinking about riding them smooth. And I knew I had a bit of a gap from hitting the jump at the beginning. So I was just trying to make it down every time. Had a few moments, but glad I was able to hold it together.
You pulled it together, and let's take an opportunity to do this. This should be fun. Hey, Whistler, let's hear it for your champion, Jordy Scott. Congratulations, Jordy. Way to be. Jordy Scott adds another medal to the case. Let's take a look at her season so far this year. Second in Cairns, second in Rotorua, second in Silver Star. So to be able to get back to that next step on the podium there with the gold medal, you can see it feels great. Congratulations to Martha, Gill there at the silver, and Juliet Lofqvist Traum walking away with the bronze. There we go, the results to the poll here. What's the toughest part of race and slalom? The winner, cornering at full commitment. I think they're on to something. They've been paying attention. That's definitely been the story out here today.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. The corners are definitely the decision maker of this course up here. So difficult, and I think really with how much it's changed. I mean, these riders have been out here since 8 a.m. this morning. That's when practice started. So what it was when they got here this morning is not the track that they're having to go their fastest on. So the technicalities of that, I can't even begin to explain.
Well, there's one thing left to do, Alan, and that is drop run number 2 of the gold medal matchup for the men. Here's a little refresher from run number 1, something that Austin Warren would probably rather not relive.
Yeah, kind of a story of what's been happening with Austin here in the Boneyard. Really the guy to beat all day long, and just a small mistake will get him out. We see right there, back tire slightly coming out of that rut and just drifting around the turn and not enough traction to pull it back in the course.
Consistency is such a part of the story in any dual slalom race. You can be the #1 qualifier, you can find your way into the gold medal matchup and have a washout in run number 1. Find yourself behind the 8 ball with 1.5 seconds to make up in the final. In this case, that's the story for Austin Warren as he's loaded in the gate next to Dante Silva. Anything can happen in this round, just like it did in the last one. Dante Silva needs a smooth run.
What Austin needs to do is he needs to get the best gate of his life and get inside of Dante's head as soon as they get out. Looks like Dante gets the whole shot right there, but if Austin can put enough pressure on Dante, get him to make a mistake, that is going to be how he's going to make up that time and hopefully walk away with that medal. Because Dante is staying absolutely perfect through here, not making even a fraction of a mistake. Knows he has that advantage, just tiptoeing through.
Cruising. Dante Silva cruises through the finish line, grabbing the gold medal. What a hard-fought battle there, coming from the 6th place qualifying position all the way to the top step of the podium. You got to give it to Austin Warren. Consistent day until that second to the last run. He walks away with the silver medal.
You know what I always say? There's nothing wrong with silver. Nice job, Austin. Way to come out here, capitalize on that amazing qualifying time and getting that silver medal. Love to see you back up on the podium here in Crankworx Whistler.
Yeah, both of these riders trying to be as consistent as possible with a little bit of an emphasis on Austin Warren trying to find something special. But both of these riders able to put a clean run down. No magic for Austin Warren and no mistakes for Dante Silva.
Camera.
Yo, Dante, hey man, congratulations. Taking a look at the qualifying list, 6th place qualifier. It's not often you see the number 6 qualifier work their way all the way to the top step of the podium. Walk me through your day today.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a change for us because we had the schedule change and it, moved the slalom to today, but it was an early morning. Got on track in the morning and it was honestly a little funky and hard to get used to, but we just started feeling the vibes and feeling the flow, and I feel like as the rounds progressed, I just kept figuring out my spots to push and just started to clean it up and really tuned it in for those final rounds.
What's it like being up there in the gate against the number 1 qualifier?
Yeah, I mean, I've raced Bubba before, like you had said, and I just got him 2 weeks ago at U.S. National Champs Slalom, so I was feeling confident and I knew I just needed to kind of keep it there, keep some pressure on, and just hoped that he would crack, and he, you know, he had a bit of a washout, and that was history.
You made it happen, man. Consistency paid off. What do you say we hand over one for the trophy case? Gold medal here, Whistler, Dante Silva. Congrats, Dante. Way to go. There we go. What a great way to kick off action here. The final stop of the 2025 Crankworx World Tour. Congratulations to Dante Silva and Jordy Scott taking the gold out here. We're not done though, Alan. We got another event today.
Yeah, the OR Trick Showdown, a first for Crankworx. Looking really, really forward to that. It's going to be awesome. We got some fresh faces out there. We're going to see some tricks maybe that have never been done before in a competition. I'm excited.
It's a format that's never been done before. I've never seen this format done in any action sport venue. So it's going to be fun to see how that pans out. It's going to be fun to see what's possible on this moon booter. You're taking a look at the jump that will be the home for the Outdoor Research Best Trick Showdown, an elimination format, just like we had here in slalom. And let's get a little update to the dual slalom series standings, which are locked now, considering this is the final stop. Jordy Scott taking away the overall. Unfortunate turn of events for Caroline Buchanan. She finds herself in second place, Alan.
Yeah, super unfortunate, but you know, hopefully Caroline's gonna be okay. Maybe we'll get her back for a pump track, I'm not sure, but that is the way it is. You have to get down the track in order to win, and unfortunately the track won against Caroline Buchanan.
It became mathematically impossible here in the final four for Tegan Cruz to take the win out from under Ryan Gilchrist. Ryan Gilchrist takes the dual slalom series overall, and you gotta give it to him. The fact that he had a massive wrist break at the last stop, fought his way back to health, and was able to get a good enough result out here in Whistler to wrap up the series and add some more points to his tally for the King of Crankworx overall, a title which he is defending right now. He's the reigning king from 2024. Speaking of those thrones, let's take a look at who's in the running for the Queen's crown.
Yeah, Jordy Scott getting a huge jump right there over both Sabina Kosakova and Caroline Buchanan, both riders who were her top competition and also were taken out by that shark fin.
I mean, Caroline Buchanan, Sabina Kosakova, the next two fighting for that top spot. Will we see them line up for any more events throughout this weekend, or will those crashes and subsequent injuries from dual slalom hand over the Queen standings and that illustrious title to Jordy Scott? Only time will tell, but Jordy Scott definitely padding that lead with the win here today. Now, the King of Crankworx series standings, Tegan Cruz still in second, Jackson Frew still in third, Ryan Gilchrist extending. Look at that number, we're into the quadruple digits now, Alan.
Yeah, 1,018 points, a massive, massive lead for Ryan Gilchrist, but the excitement isn't over. We're gonna see Tegan Cruz and Jackson Frew battling it out to see who gets second in the overall standings. We still have another event for them to come back. We're gonna see Pump Track on Sunday, and that's where we're gonna decide who the rider gets.
So we mentioned earlier that we're not just giving away prizes to the riders out here. We got a prize up for grabs for you, the viewers out at home watching on the Red Bull Bike YouTube channel. And we have a winner. Congratulations goes to Michael Stokes. We're gonna be sending the Darko gloves, the pads, the jersey, the pants, and the bag to throw in your truck on your way to a nice day of riding. Congratulations, Michael. Thanks for playing along.
Watch Crankworx, win free stuff. Nothing wrong with that.
Why not? And as we mentioned earlier, we're not done yet. We got the Outdoor Research Best Trick Showdown coming up 6 p.m. local time right here in beautiful Whistler, British Columbia. Hey, to all of you who tuned in to the Specialized Dual Slalom, thanks for watching. We'll see you momentarily for the Best Trick Showdown.